Are you ready to unleash your creative razzle-dazzle? Then join the Canary Cry new stock producers and make some refrigerator art for the show. Show your support with your talent at canarycry.party. Your mom will thank you.
Yo, you curious about blockchain technology? Your boys Basil and Gons at CCNT have gone full crypto bro. Tune in to your favorite Sigma males and discover the world of blah blah blockchain. Don't miss out, fam. Join the ride and level up your crypto game.
Investing in cryptocurrency involves significant risk and can result in substantial or complete loss of funds. The information provided by CCNT, Basil and Gons is for educational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. Always conduct your own research and consult with a professional financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
Razzle Dazzle, it's Body by Basil, the new exciting fitness craze that will get you Canary Cry swole in no time at all. Just listen to these quotes from our participants. My muscles are huge. It's all or Nephilim. You'll be an apocalypse warlord in no time. Don't wait. Order today and save 33% for just 4 easy payments of only $33.33. You too can have the body of a googly eye, VR headset wearing Nephilim warlord.
A new, raw deconstruction of news and analysis. Introducing Canary Cry New Stalk, the new intense fragrance made specifically for thinking outside the cage. From your favorite podcasters, Basil and Gons.
Gons, can you hear me? I'm hearing reports about a prototype Flippy arm.
Don't tell me. Flippy is coming for our jobs.
That's right. You know what this means.
Yeah, it's wake-up time. Think outside the cage.
There we go. There we go. Now I'm here. What's going on, everybody? We're not going to have the fun music because it's not loaded into the thing. So we are here at the pre-show. It's the pre-show. Somebody in chat, if if you're able to hear me, just make sure to tell me that in the chat, please. Just making sure. You know how it is when Gons isn't here. It's all wonky. And yeah, this is not an official Canary Cry News Talk episode. No, we're continuing to experiment with how exactly we can best continue to bring the value, keep the community together, keep the world on track, because things are getting crazy out there, folks. You know it. You know it. You know it, and I know it. So we're going to get the show started in a second, but also this just kind of is the show. Like, we're just here in the show. I'm just off screen for a moment while I continue to click some buttons and try to continue talking while I do some stuff in the background. But here's the thing, folks. You got to remember, don't forget, you got to remember to join the text message alert system. If you haven't done it yet, we got a bunch of people join yesterday. I'm expecting a bunch of people to join now. Although, who knows? I don't know if people are even going to find the show today. But there's certainly 100% been times when the notification did not come through. You did not know the show was starting. You missed the show. Isn't that sad? I know, it's very sad. Certainly, there's been hundreds of you, at least hundreds of you who have told us this, that you'll get randomly unsubscribed from the show, the channels on various publications, not just YouTube, the other ones, if you know what I'm talking about. Wink. That's why we have the Canary Cry News Talk text message alert system. Canary Cry text message alert system. Get the text, people. Get text straight to your phone from me. I do it all myself. Isn't that so impressive? Thank you. But let's get it straight here. Of course, we'll send out text messages so you never miss a show or if there's an emergency deletion of a channel or something. But even better, everybody likes it because you can text us. And I enjoy it. I enjoy all your texts. I read all of your texts. And I appreciate them. You could be like, let's see who. Jamie just texted, says, dang, I would love to call in my dog, but I'm in the studio working on her next album. Oh, Sir Jamie, not the Lannister, is in the studio today. We have so much in common. I'm here in the studio too, just me and Jamie, the rock star, the Canary. So that's fun. Let's see here. 253 says, it's wake up time. You got this, Basil. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. 253. 661 says, nope, it's No Agenda Live time. Oh, I forgot Thursdays was No Agenda. Maybe we'll just go all listen to No Agenda Live together. Maybe that could be fun. A companion podcast to No Agenda. That's an idea. All right, folks, let's get into the official show here in a second, which is really just me being here on the screen. There we are. Look, there's no intro music. This is not an official CCNT, but in case you didn't know, if you've been missing the past couple episodes or the second half of a few of the episodes, we've been experimenting with the call-in section of the show. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback, people having fun with the call-in thing. I enjoy the call-ins. It brings me back to the Joyspiracy Theory days. Love it. Love hearing what's going on out there, getting boots on the ground, learning about all the crazy people who are part of the Canarium. But we have also gotten some very thoughtful discussion, comments, queries from people who are like, I like the call-ins. It's fun. But it's not news talk. Like, it's not the show. It's not the official. I don't know. I mean, you guys do what you want to do, but I'm not necessarily here for the call-ins. That's a totally fair and respectable position. Now, I will say, I've been encouraging, if people do not like the call-ins, to let us know about it. Because as of now, it's about 2-to-1. 2-to-1, enjoy the call-ins on CCNT. The one does not. But I will state, that is a significant portion still. Small sample size. But that means 33% of people who have commented say, I don't know. Not really into it. And that's a large group of people to ignore. We certainly don't want to ignore those people. So we're going to continue to test some things out. This is going to be a very short thing. I was trying to get started earlier. I apologize. I wanted to get like at least a full hour, maybe even 2 hours to do this. But this will be a pretty short thing because I need to head into town very soon, and run some errands, some time-sensitive errands. So, maybe we'll see how it goes. Maybe I should text and see if I can push some errands out. We'll see how it goes. So, here's the thing. We're going to hang out. We're just going to hang out. I'm going to poke around. I'll see what's going on. If there's anything important that needs to be brought to anybody's attention. But mostly, call in. Say hi. Let's talk. What's going on in the world? What's going on in your world? What's going on with me? I don't know. You're going to have to ask the questions. I'm not, I don't know what you want to know. 303 at the text message alert system said, I would not have known this had I not signed up for the text alerts. Awesome. I don't know why I had such a hard time reading that from 303, but thank you. See, you would never know. So here's what I'm going to do. First, just a thing. If you like call-ins, if you don't like call-ins, if you want to do separate call-ins like this, if this is something that brings value to your life, then saying it in the chat is one thing, but the chat disappears. We can't use chat as data. So send a text to the text message alert system, or go ahead and email us at canarycryradio@gmail.com, or message us on other more permanent messaging things. So let's do that. But let's get right into it. Those who are on the newsletter, go into your inbox, look at the email, search Canary Cry. There should have been an email that arrived for a bunch of people before this show. In that email, you'll see a yellow button. That yellow button will guide you calmly and confidently into the waiting room for this show. You can still listen and watch the show from there, but that's how you call in. And then I'll bring you up. We'll say hi, say whatever you want to say. If there's news breaking, somebody tell me what the news is breaking. Come on, there's whatever you want. This is totally free form, but it's just a fun way for the community to get together and for us to experiment with whatever is God's plan for this year. So what I'm going to do, if you're going into the email, clicking that button, I will also post, let's see, I'm going to post the link into the chat box here on YouTube. There's the link. Go like that. I'm going to go over to Rumble. I'm going to post it in Rumble for you. Here you go. Rumble people can now call in. That's very fun. So click on that. It'll be a couple of very simple steps, and then it will put you in the right place to get on the show. And that'll be very fun. I think that there is such an incredible group of people who are in the Canarium. If you're new, welcome. Come on the show, say hi. But it takes a very special type of person. It takes a very thoughtful person. It takes a very faithful person. It takes a very interesting person. It takes a very interested person to sit through and endure our shenanigans, not just for an individual show, but repeatedly for many, many years. And I am constantly surprised and impressed by the people I get to talk to who come on the show. Now, remember, don't wait too long because, I mean, I'm looking at the clock. Man, if I have a half hour, I mean, worst case scenario, I have a half hour. But let's just see what happens. I'll keep an eye. I'm sure there'll be stuff to talk about. Okay, we got some people coming into the chat. Here's the general rules. There's no rules. No rules, just right. Don't feel any pressure to talk for a long time. Don't feel any pressure to talk for a little bit of time. But we'll just see who calls in and measure it from there. We're starting out with the one, the only. This is Psalm 40. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, how you doing?
Not much. Just hanging out. Just scrambling to do a show today. Thanks for calling in. You sound great.
Well, so do you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of current event, I guess.
Okay.
I was scrolling through Twitter earlier today, and I think it was a Alex Jones post actually, and it was Trump talking about how he was declaring war on Davos and the NWO. Okay, have you seen this?
So I watched some clips from his Davos speech. I don't recall. Is this what did Trump say he is declaring war, or was this Alex Jones's headline?
I didn't look into it, but this was an Alex Jones post, and that's how he advertised it. How Alex was advertising it. But the point here that I'm trying to make is that in that video, Trump is standing at his podium, and has the seal of the United States on it, and behind him there's like a green screen or a drape or something that also has a giant presidential seal on it. The one on the podium, the eagle's head is facing the olive branch. But behind him on the huge one, the eagle's head is facing the arrows.
Let's see if I can pull this up here. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to share this tab. Let's see if we can get this up here. Is this the one you're talking about?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, okay.
Just kind of
so the presidential
stood out to me.
seal, is mirrored and facing the opposite direction. So you can see, let me see if I can zoom in here. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that, if I have the tools. But you can see, let me see, where's my thing? Oh, it doesn't show you my screen. That's too bad. I'm sorry, it doesn't show you my cursor. But yes, if you look closely here, you can see on the podium, it has the presidential seal, the President of the United States, with the eagle in the middle. He is facing to our left. And then, in the background here, you can see my cursor now. You have this sort of stylized version, but the eagle is facing the other direction. That's very strange. What do you think? What does your spirit tell you?
Well, I mean, I guess immediately my spirit told me that's suspicious.
It's a little interesting. If you've got an
But
eye to look into these things, it is interesting.
right, I did look into it because I just knew, like, I don't know where I learned it honestly, but I just had it saved in the database somewhere that these differences are supposed to mean the nation is at peace and the nation is at war.
Mm.
And so I looked into it, and I think it was Truman at the end of World War II, I think. It had originally been facing the arrows, but at the end of World War II, it was switched, and it had just stayed that way since then. Bush never did anything during the wars he was in. Like, nobody had changed it since Truman.
Okay, I am just on the back end here gonna do a little searchy poo to see if I can find anything about this or any examples. So let's see, presidential seal orientation. What do you think? Meaning? Meaning. Let's see what comes up here. Seal of the President of the United States, historical symbolism, President. Does Snopes has a does the U.S. presidential seal change during wartime? We could see what Snopes says. Get the real information. Let's just see for fun what Snopes says, because whatever Snope does say, that'll at least give us a clue that something's going on. Does the U.S. presidential seal change in wartime? False, of course. During wartime, the seal of the President of the United States is modified so that the eagle's head faces in the opposite direction. Okay, so this is apparently as or well known enough that Snopes came in. Now we know how Snopes does this. You know, they'll say, no, the seal doesn't change. The seal's the same. It just turns the other way or something like that. And unfortunately, as is their strategy, they have given so many blocks of text. Let me see here. Although the seal of the President of the United States has undergone various changes over the years, its design is fixed by executive order. I mean, that's interesting. Executive order, that means Trump could change it at any time.
And he did just sign a bunch of those.
Yeah. The last paragraph of the above quote. Okay, let me read the last paragraph. Although the eagle featured in the presidential seal has faced its right ever since, there are items in the White House collection that are made before 1945 that display the eagle facing its left, such as, okay. The last paragraph of the above quoted response might provide a clue as to how this rumor began. The great, oh, here we go. Here we go, Snopes. The Great Seal of the United States includes a coat of arms featuring an eagle clutching 13 arrows in one talon and an olive branch in the other, its head facing to the viewer's left, towards the talon with the olive branch. Presidential flags had historically featured a similar coat of arms, but in 1916, President Woodrow Wilson issued an executive order that changed the design slightly, such that the eagle's head was modified to face the viewer's right. Huh. Okay, so let me jump back over here. The coat of arms on the presidential flag changed again in 1945 when President Harry Truman issued Executive Order 9646, Execute Order 66. It made several alterations to the presidential flag and seal, among which was the reversal of the eagle's head so that it once more faced the same direction. Okay, so it is real that there is a version that points in one direction and a version that points in the other direction. Something I'm finding interesting, if you look here on the screen, it's not just a mirror of the presidential seal, because even though the head is facing the opposite direction, the olive branch in one claw and the arrows in the other claw are still identical in the mirrored one. So the one they are showing in the back is that other design. Okay. Nice notice, bro. Let's see here. As biographer David McCullough noted of Truman's motivation for making the change. One morning, standing at the desk, Truman presented to the press a new presidential flag. Quote, "This new flag faces the eagle toward the staff," Truman explained, "which is looking to the front all the time when you are on the march, and also has him looking at the olive branch for peace instead of the arrows for war." Both the flag and presidential seal had been redesigned for the first time since the Wilson years, and Truman meant the shift in the eagle's gaze to be as symbolic of a nation both on the march and dedicated to peace. Thank you, Snopes, for giving us the. Yeah, what is Snopes fooling in? They're like, no, this is not true. Just because the head is facing the other way doesn't mean that we're at war. That whole design exists because Truman changed the face on the eagle to mean that you're either at peace or you're going to war. So false. What?
It
All right,
sounded
so
like there was a part in that Snopes article where they said, you may see some of these facing the arrows, but they're just pre-Truman.
that seems like something, but then why would Trump put a pre-Truman seal up
Right.
behind him at the World
Did you,
Economic Forum?
yeah, did you catch this scene? Like, do you know what the context, like what was going on here?
I've seen a couple of the clips. We can play this one. It's 50 seconds. I didn't exactly look. Let's see. What does this say? Hold on a second. Donald Trump addressing the WEF Davos via video conference. To put it mildly, his commentary in the diametric opposite of what's being discussed and agreed at the Davos meeting. So you want to take a listen to this? Let's see what he's saying here. Let me know if you can hear this. Oh. Okay, are you able to hear that? Chat, can you hear that?
I cannot.
You cannot hear that.
Correct.
Oh, nuts. Oh, nuts. Well, I might not be set up for this, but let me try something here real quick. I'm going to need to go like this. I'm going to need to go like this. I need to go like this. He's talking about the Green New Deal, by the way, if anybody's interested. Okay. Routing 7-8. I go like this. Oh, I see exactly what I'm going to have to do. This might not work, but I'm going to try it. Out 7-8. Nope. Yep. Okay. It's not going to work. So I'll set that up for next time. But this, so did you see some of the clips?
I did not. I did know that Davos. I saw little baby Soros. I forget his first name.
Alex.
Alex Soros. Yeah, I saw he was there. I didn't even know that Trump was there. I didn't know that that's what this was.
Yeah, I mean, I really only know what's being showed to me on X, but the ones that I saw, he's just laying it out. He's just like, yeah, we're going to be the boss of AI cryptocurrency. We're not doing the Green New Deal. You can look at these tweets here. OMG, Trump just torched the globalists at the WEF. He torched them.
So I would have to assume that this imagery behind him is some kind of a screen then, because it wasn't there for everybody, right?
Yeah, I have a question about whether he is literally there physically or if this is just a feed that he's sending them or something. But either way, I mean, I think it's pretty clear that there's some sort of message going on here, whether or not it's, a pre-Truman seal. It's there on purpose. And the one that he has on the back there has the eagle facing towards the arrows, which was explicitly Truman making the changes, was explicitly to send the message like, oh no, now we're for peace. Okay, it's facing the other way. That was war. That was, aggressive. We're switching it around. Now it's peace. And now Trump putting up So even by Truman's own admission, the reasons for the change are sort of, there's some sort of message there, man. That's very interesting. I mean, it's in alignment with the clips that I've seen and what people are talking about it.
That's pretty
Oh,
much all I had, really.
no, that's good. Thanks for bringing it to my attention. This will be very
Yep.
interesting. People, I'm sure right now are typing away trying to go find some more answers. The notion of a presidential seal that featured as its centerpiece an eagle whose gaze changed direction based on the state of belligerency in the world was the object of a wry comment made by British Prime Minister Winston Churchill as he was visiting with the President Truman in 1946. Okay,
I
so
have a Churchill connection.
the the conspiracy doesn't come from somebody on Facebook. It comes from Winston Churchill. All right,
Yeah, and
what's
Trump just brought Churchill's what is it? The statue of their face. What is that called? A
a
bust.
bust? Yeah.
Yeah, just brought his bust back into the White House. Supposedly Biden took it out, and like UK is like all in love with Trump now because he brought Churchill's bust back in the White House.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, bro. Something's going on for sure. I don't care
And
what
it's
Snoke
really
says.
crazy because Trump and Elon also, like both of those guys really play in to the rabbit hole roles. Like they lean into these things heavily and obviously,
Yeah.
and that is also suspicious.
Yeah. I mean, dude, again, we cannot believe, which we just got to keep in mind, and it is, I mean, this is key, is to be reminded that every single piece of information that we are working with, that we receive, is being presented to us through a medium. It is filtered through. There is no piece of information we have that is untouched by some sort of, information control. And so this is the only way to stay sane these days. So whether or not this is, really the case, I mean, it's not even a question of whether or not it's really the case. The fact that it's happening is the message. The medium is the message. So, man, that is, if nothing else, patriotic. Thanks for calling in, Psalm 40. Always great to talk to you, buddy.
Yes, sir. You have a great day.
You bet. Talk to you soon. All right. Look at that. I had not heard that. I had not seen that come through on the tweeters. Let's see here. We got another caller calling in. This is Jagged 733. Jagged 733. You're on the air. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you great.
Awesome. Just a thought. I'm actually in the middle of work right now.
Okay.
On a scaffold, but I couldn't help myself. I have this feeling that there's going to be like a counterfeit revival. I don't know if you guys were talking about that before.
Oh, yeah.
But it seems to me like there's a lot of hunger out there for like truth. And so they're coming to the church, and there seems to be this like big push back to conservatism and the church as an extension. But my question to you and maybe the Canarians even is like, are they going to find the truth in the vast majority of churches, or do you think this is almost like a setup for like a great falling away? And I think you and Jonathan talked about that a few episodes ago.
No, that's a great question. Yeah, this is something that I've been, that we've been talking about for quite some time. And again, I was referencing when I was growing up in the church. I mean, in the 90s, as a young child, we had always heard, this is the generation, there's going to be a revival like the world's never seen. We're coming towards the end times and God's going to move. And, this is something that was really, I mean, we heard it every single week. And the fact that we were going to be a part of it and it's our job to do it. And, this is the whole thing. It was just like a constant part of growing up in the church. And then really, I've been, of course, harping on it for about a year, maybe a little over a year, about how we have kind of seen, first it started with this respect of Christian principles after things swung so far to the left and the atheism and the relativism and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, I think people in general, the population was just like, okay, we need to find some footing. We need to find some sort of footing to base our society off of. And then this respect and then sort of defense of Christian principles became even a pretty like regular secular talking point. Even, influencers, podcasters, all these people were like, look, I'm not a Christian, but I think all these Christian principles are good, and our country was founded on it. And then the next phase was everybody, Russell Brand, Tucker Carlson, all these huge influencers becoming Christian, and outspokenly so. Oops, it looks like we lost Jagged, but we'll wait for him to come back into the thing, and I'll just keep rambling on. And that was a huge thing. And now what we've seen is not just a respect of Christian principles or interest or people, declaring their conversion one at a time. We have seen a huge movement of converts to Christianity. Such a huge movement that, in fact, the mainstream media, I've brought the articles, started reporting on it. Multiple reports from multiple outlets being like, whoa, everybody's becoming Christian now. All these young men, specifically, all these young men, they're becoming Christian. Isn't that wild? It must be the patriarchy or whatever they were saying. And what I found very interesting about this whole thing was that primarily the revival that is happening, not all of it, it's really spread out. There's a lot of ways to be Christian denominationally, but the plurality, if not the majority of converts, are going to the Orthodox Church, the Eastern Orthodox Church. And there's a few reasons I think that's the case. Let me, I'm just going to pull something up here. Orthodox revival. Let's see if I can grab some mainstream articles here. And here's why I think that's the case. I think culture had swung so far in the direction of relativism, so far in the direction of a sort of sandy foundation, the constant redefinition of words, the constant moving target of liberal social orthodoxy, the progressive, the increasing, severity of the big ask, social liberalism's big ask. This is an example of it. I'm not laying this out scholarly, but an example that some of these people might give you is it started out, okay, gay people are not illegal. Great. Gay people can get married. Okay, all right. But then it goes to, the asking people to require themselves to speak in language that is so what's the word? Diverted. Their language is so diverted from what they can see with their eyes. And, specifically, you can talk about the trans thing, not just the concept of people wanting to be something else, but then, pronouns, dead naming, misgendering, making these things in some countries illegal, some people going to jail for Facebook posts. And of course, men and women's sports, women and men's sports, these are all really big societal changes that aren't just part of the lexicon. It's not just part of the academic sort of intellectual life of someone living in society, but it starts to impact their physical, daily, regular lives. And the trans and sports thing is just like an easy example, but I think this went in many different directions and varying degrees. And I think people just felt, and I'm just kind of speaking for your regular Joe Schmo secular guy, that they had been tugged around and forced and bullied so much. And of course, there would be people out there who will have problem with me using the word bullied in this context, but I'm just saying that's how people felt. People don't like being told how to talk or what to say. That finding some sort of foundation was significantly more attractive than being tossed around on the ocean of sort of liberalism. Jagged's back. I'm going to get you in here, Jagged. There you are. And so I was building up to what I've seen this revival mostly by the numbers is the Eastern Orthodox Church. And I was just talking to somebody about the Eastern Orthodox Church yesterday after the show, and there's several things I find really fascinating about it, sort of academically and theologically. And I'm actually really hoping I'm moving towards getting. I'm in contact with some guys who I think are really wise, really smart, who have in the past couple of years converted to Orthodox Christianity from no Christianity. And I want to get their take on what exactly that means. But so far, what I can gather is the Eastern Orthodox Church aesthetics, just the aesthetics of it, I think are really fascinating to those who are formerly secular, but looking for a visible, sort of real, aesthetic community they can participate in, where the inner change is reflected by the outer sort of pageantry of the rituals and the things like that. That's one thing. The Orthodox Church also has a very, very serious hierarchy of discipleship. You don't just say, unlike Protestantism, to get into the Orthodox Church, you got to do a lot of stuff. You got to do a lot of studying. You got to get baptized. You got to have basically a mentor or be a disciple and do all this work and like really change your life to officially be allowed into the Eastern Orthodox Church, which I think in a world where young men have been totally stripped of like some structure in their lives, like a clear path, not just like in getting a job or whatever, but becoming a man, like finding male identity. And all the former sort of coming of age things for American young men are just gone, whether it's sports, whether it's whatever. And so I think the Orthodox Church holds a lot of really attractive things for somebody who's just like, you know what? I'm tired of having my chain yanked around by, politicians, by cultural leaders, by cancel culture, by all these sorts of things. And the very clear path that Orthodox Christianity sets out for young men specifically, I think is, I have a hard time thinking it's necessarily like bad. However, I will say I claim almost complete ignorance about the ins and outs and details of Eastern Orthodox theology. So I can't really speak on that yet. But is that kind of what you've seen? Is sort of Eastern Orthodox kind of the getting the attention, or what's been your experience?
Sorry, I didn't hear the last part of what you said. It's in and out for internet here.
Oh, no worries. I was just saying, does my theory about Eastern Orthodox Christianity resonate, or what's been your experience?
Absolutely. I think there's the one side that just wants the outer show, and it actually like makes them very susceptible to being deceived, because they'll buy into the show. If they become part of the show, then they get to then they get some sort of role. Then whoever takes the leadership of that organization is someone they're going to follow, kind of like the Pope, right?
Yes. Right.
But the other side of it I've also seen is in charismatic circles, it doesn't matter what church I seem to go to, there's a focus on breakthrough. And breakthrough is not a bad thing, but to me, it's like breakthrough is like if the Wicked Witch of the West was killed at the beginning of The Wizard of Oz or something. There's no journey, no one's set free. If Dorothy doesn't go on the journey, then she doesn't meet the Tin Man and the scare.
Uh-oh. We lost you for a second. Let's see if he comes back. That's what happens when you're out on the job site, man. You're up on the scaffolding. You're out there getting the job done, creating things, working with his hands.
I just lost a connection again.
Yeah, no worries.
Did you hear me?
Yeah, I got you now. You're back. You're talking about Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, and yeah, sorry for the bad example. I don't know if it's a great example, but I don't know if anyone's seen Hishy videos, but they did one where basically the Wicked Witch of the West was killed at the beginning, and um, no one gets like the Tin Man and the Scarecrow and everyone else. They don't get, they don't get helped by Dorothy,
Huh.
because Dorothy gets a breakthrough at the beginning. And I feel like that's kind of the culture in the church right now is like people are coming to the church because there's this breakthrough culture. And the Bible is pretty clear that the path isn't one of breakthrough, it's one of suffering
Mm.
that perfects us. And so I almost kind of see like a lot of people kind of coming expecting one thing, and then when the reality of the fact that, even Jesus himself had to learn obedience through suffering, um, there's a lot of people that are going to be like, I'm out of here. Sorry.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to somewhere where they're going to tell me what I want to hear, like
Yeah.
Derek Prince or
Right.
something. And
For sure.
that,
For
it's
sure.
it's kind of like the two extremes, like with like the ultra religious, where you know.
This is very interesting you bring this up because yes, I grew up in a more charismatic tradition. I know exactly what you're talking about, and this was always kind of part of the conversation, and makes especially in Protestantism and even more loosey goosey ones like charismatics and stuff like that. Conversion was always very interesting because it was, you say the prayer and you do it, and that's good. And depending on what your ideas of once saved, always saved are, there you go. Um, and while I could never attempt to try and, speak about the hearts of any one person's conversion, much less, a mass population of converts, that is always the worry. I mean, that's the struggle for each one of us in our walk with Christ. I will say, and again, just back on the Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox conversation, I get a lot of these Eastern Orthodox guys popping up in my feeds, and they've got their own memes. Eastern Orthodox memes. They're very meme hungry. I think this is a result of the fact that it's a lot of young men on the internet becoming Eastern Orthodox, is they're also the meme warriors. And so Eastern Orthodox memes are very robust. But also, they're doing lots of posting of not only scripture, but like the very rich history of Eastern Orthodox writings. They are very into their sort of extra biblical writings written by the church fathers and monks. Eastern Orthodox is a very monastic style of Christianity. And boy, oh boy, I'll tell you what, at least in all these Eastern Orthodox memes I'm seeing, the idea that life is suffering and refinement comes through fire, and a lot of these Eastern Orthodox memes are specifically, they'll make fun of Protestantism, and they'll make a comment about Protestantism being, it's all about me, 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 Jesus give me money, or Jesus is my boyfriend kind of things. This is not me. This is me recounting Christian Eastern Orthodox memes. But of course, any self-reflective Protestant will understand that these are some problems that need to be overcome in each one of us. But then they will compare it to Eastern Orthodoxy, which is very much denying of self and suffering and et cetera, et cetera. So while it has always been a part of the, I guess, storyline of the end times that there will be a big revival, but there will also be a large falling away for exactly the reason you're talking about. This comes into the pre-trib, post-trib, mid-trib discussion as well. Will Christians be around during the tribulation? Will we, be there for the 3.5 years of good times, but then be raptured before the bad times? Or do we need to live through the tribulation with the rest of everybody? Or do we just disappear altogether? These are ongoing conversations, and everybody's got a very good point to make here. But it seems like, now I don't want to give the impression that I am trying to sort of give any credit to Eastern Orthodoxy because I do not know much about it, but from what I am seeing on the internet, they are ready to suffer. Now, does that mean during tribulation or during hard times that they have a better chance of enduring? It seems like maybe that's kind of what they're shooting for. But yeah, man, I really just want to I need to talk to some of these guys. Hopefully, do it on the air. Because I just want to understand what I've been seeing for so long here. But thank you very much, Jagged. He dropped off again, but very good question, very good conversation. Speaking of Eastern Orthodox, we're going to bring our Russian handler on in a second. This is very fun. I did want to address something in the chat because this is a good time. This is a good opportunity to do it. Let me see how I'm doing on time. Not very well. All right. Well, let's do this. I'm going to have to bring on our Russian. Well, let me do this real quick. So, who is this? Lane or Ian Welsh in the chat says Basil's condescending tone of talking is one of the reasons I watch. Reminds me of my cousin, Basil, a very smart guy. Gates program kid. Okay. Was sorry, I misunderstood that when I was reading it. I thought they were calling me condescending. But it sounds like maybe somebody else was saying I was condescending. That's fine. So this is something I'm bracing myself for. So back when we would stream to a much larger audience, thanks to the Face Like the Sun channel, longtime listeners will know there's a long, storied, noble tradition of Basil hatred. And thankfully, over many years of this, my skin has grown tougher. But I have looked back sometimes and been like, you know what? I don't actually want to like push people away. A lot of people had a lot of problems with me joking around with Gons or, teasing him or something like that. That's just tough. I mean, that's guys being friends. I don't know what to do about that. But I certainly want everybody to know that I'm not here genuinely to make Gons feel bad about himself or make anybody else feel less about Gons. But this condescending tone thing is very funny to me because it's just the way my voice is. It's the weird intonations. It's the nasaliness. It's the, I don't know, maybe confidence by which but sometimes I'll use unusual words. If I can remember them, I'm often forgetting words, but sometimes I'll use, what somebody might call big fancy words or just unusual words. And oftentimes this can come across, I totally understand, as sarcastic or condescending. Whenever I meet somebody new, I tell them I have a disease. And the disease is that I can be entirely authentic, being very serious. And honestly, like, I don't know, I like to think that I'm trying really hard to, let people know that I'm enjoying their company or their conversation or whatever. But yeah, my voice just has this thing to it that very often comes across as sarcastic. I get the sarcastic thing a lot. Which is, I don't know what to do about that. But I used to be a little bit more, I don't know, push back on the like, Basil's condescending and annoying and sarcastic and I can't stand him and stuff. I used to maybe out of necessity to protect my feelings, I had to be like, well, I don't care what you think of me. I'm just doing my thing. I don't care. That's your problem. But if I could find ways to not rub people the wrong way, I would really love to do that. Now, if it's a problem where it's just like the shape of my vocal cords and the pattern of my speech, those are things I'm not very able to change. But I do want to say, in this new transitionary period of Canary Cry and the end of the world, it's not that I don't care about coming across as insincere. I hope those who have been listening for a while, and I hope people who just get here, but I hope people understand now that I am extraordinarily sincere most of the time. And I like to make sure, I like to think that I make it pretty obvious when I'm not being sincere. But thank you for popping that in. It sounds like Ian or Lane. It's kind of hard to tell if that's an I or an L. was actually saying a nice thing about me. Appreciate that. I cannot find anything that you may have been responding to. Just checking the chat. Okay, so there you go. Got that out of the way. One last caller here before we call it a day. Sorry it's so short, people. I wish I could have done it longer, but if this is something that you want more of, you got to let us know. Don't just put it in the chat. Send us a text at the text number. You can see all that on the screen down below there to join the text message alert system. Send us an email at canarycryradio@gmail.com. Send us a message. Not on Facebook. We're not on Facebook anymore. We got kicked off. But on X or wherever you can, let us know if you want to do more call-in shows, hopefully longer ones than this. Okay. Let's do this. Okay, we're going to bring on our Russian handler here. Hello, how are you?
Hi.
You are on the air.
Okay.
Nice to
I
hear
was
from
thinking,
you.
I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, no problem. No problem. Thanks for calling in again. Are
you
here?
were talking about,
Oh, no, go ahead. Sorry.
Talking about Russian Orthodox, not the Russian, Eastern Orthodox. I don't know if Russian Orthodox is different from Eastern Orthodox or not.
Okay.
But it is probably the main religion in Eastern Europe. And oh shoot,
Do you
one of
have
my friends.
Do you have experience with Eastern Orthodoxy or Russian Orthodoxy? Because you are our Russian handler. Have you been in that culture?
Well, a lot of people would consider themselves Russian Orthodox, but that usually didn't really mean much.
Mm.
In my experience, it's like you maybe go to church once a year, maybe, or if there's like a death in the family or something happening, you need a prayer, you go and you leave a note and
Right. More of
a
a culture thing than an actual
monetary offering, right? They light a candle or whatever they do. And it was very similar to Catholicism. I had a teacher in school who was like probably the most serious Russian Orthodox person I ever met.
Uh-huh.
She taught girls the girly crafts class basically, and every chance she had a chance to, she would talk to us about religion basically and things. And it's like, on one hand it's encouraging, I probably heard more evangelizing from her than from some of my fellow Protestant Christians that I knew.
Yeah, right.
On the other hand, again, it's very much like Catholicism, very similar in many ways. For example, one of the things she would say, well, the reason we pray to Mary is because Jesus is very busy. He has all these other things. So, and besides, she's his mother and he's going to listen to his mother.
Right. Do you know in your experience, is Mary a subject of worship in Eastern Orthodox?
To a degree, probably. They do worship saints and have icons that they pray to. A lot of times when you get baptized, they will assign a saint to you, sort of thing, that you can pray to, and things like that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm really fascinated to learn more about it. Yeah, I know what you mean though, with the as as I hopefully get more and more educated, I will feel less and less reticent to share my sort of ignorance of the thing. But really, I've always considered, I don't know if up until the past couple of years, if you showed me, you know, a church, a Catholic church or an Eastern Orthodox church, if I would have been very easily able to tell the difference between them. The sort of like high church aesthetic, the icons and the gold and the paintings and the robes and the ritual and things like this. As an American, in American Protestantism, that was always, honestly, it was frowned upon is not right, but it was like it seemed silly, or we are told that it was like they think that their art and their robes and their crosses will save them, but all we need is Jesus. And yes, I still believe all we really need is Jesus, but I don't think that the the Eastern Orthodox or the Catholic think that necessarily it's the pageantry that saves them. I can definitely see it. Not even. I mean, I think that's what makes it a very sort of powerful cultural force, a binding agent in society, um, because our human brains love shiny things, and we really recognize the value of pageantry and uniforms. That's why cops wear gold badges and wear uniforms. Like this is built into us. There's something uniquely human about it, and I think it's partly trying to form order out of chaos. It communicates order to us when there's priests wearing priest outfits, and there's a ritual that goes the same way every time. I think it's comforting. And I would guess that if I really talked to a real Eastern Orthodox person, and probably a Catholic person, that they would say, yeah, of course, it's not the pageantry that brings us our salvation. It's not the robes. It's not the whatever, but it's sort of our way of separating out our faith from the rest of our interaction with the world. And I'm willing to give credit to both of those. Um, if that is the case. We are set apart, and I think our faith, as much as Protestants love to sort of theologize about how, of course, our faith should affect everything in our life and be present everywhere. I think even Orthodox and Catholics would agree. But there is something about like having that time set apart, having that space set apart, recognizing something as holy and sort of treating it that way. So, I know I probably sound like I'm sitting here trying to convert to Eastern Orthodoxy, but I am just very fascinated with it given current events.
For longest time, I did not consider Catholic people or Russian Orthodox people true Christians.
Yeah.
And God had to humble me some in this area.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it's going to be between them and God. Who am I to say where their heart is?
I
I
totally
don't know.
agree.
I just can say from what I've seen, because, for example, my grandfather, he considers himself a believer, but he doesn't go to church. He would read horoscopes and, a lot of superstition in Russia about different things. And just his lifestyle is not by any means. He is an alcoholic and just,
Yeah. Yeah.
So he
Yeah.
says he believes, but where truly his heart is, who knows? Only God knows.
Yeah, I think that would be one of the downsides of it is if your faith is sort of strictly aesthetics and rituals and
Right.
and not present in the change of your heart and your life and everything, then yes, I would say best case scenario, you got to have both, but at the very least, the faith needs to be changing you, transforming you, setting you apart in this world. So yeah, I guess maybe that's the other side of it is when the aesthetics and the rituals are so distinct that it can give you the feeling that you are being a good Christian in one way or another, without having to suffer the transformation that should inevitably bring. And of course, even Protestants can be guilty of the same thing as well.
That's true. That's true. There's a lot of, people you would never know, but I was one of those people. I went to church. I grew up in the church. I very much wanted a relationship with Jesus and stuff. And it seems like everybody around me has it and I don't. And I
Mm,
don't know what I'm doing wrong.
yeah.
And again, there are probably now I realize that there's probably a lot of people like me who also were in church and they looked the part. And from
Yes.
the outside, everything looked the same. But again, and I still don't know really what to think of it. Was I saved at
Yeah.
that point, or was I not? There had to be big changes that happened in my life to come to a conclusion that yes, I am.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. We got to pick up our cross on a daily basis. We got to renew our faith every single morning. This is what we're called to do. This is what Christ has laid out before us, and whether or not we get to wear robes or be in the presence of old art, it's really boils down to picking up your cross and having the Lord be the source of your faith. We are not the manufacturers of our own faith. And, I could make a case that, hey, if robes and gold stuff and tradition helps you do that every day to pick up your cross and die to yourself, then it's probably fine. It goes against my Protestant instincts, but I think I'm willing to make that concession. Well, thank you so much for calling in, my Russian handler. I really appreciate it. It's great to hear your voice. I love listening to your accent, so thank you for that gift.
Well, I don't have control over it. So.
You and me both, sister. All right. That was the worst one. Okay. I'll talk to you later. Make sure to call in again.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. There you go, folks. There's just some fun, some little call-in fun. Let's see. I am late for my errand, so I'm going to need to skedaddle. But let me know. Don't put it in the chat here. Email us at canarycryradio@gmail.com. You can see at the bottom of the screen, text the word canary to 877-740-3226. Say it again for those listening. Canary to 877-740-3226. Join that list. That just keeps picking up steam. My goodness, Canarians love the text message alert system, and I love reading it. So you can tell us what you think about the call-in there. 615 in the text message list says, oh, this is a long one. I hope it's okay to read. Here I go. Basil, this is 615. Basil, I've been listening to Gone since the first Age of Deceit, and I want you to ask him this question for me. Oh boy. All I need is a yes or no answer. Gons, have you been following the Trump Lemonade Lagoon conspiracy about Ryan Cohen, GameStop, bye, baby merger, global financial shift, corporation umbrella with the MSTR being the real Enron and Bitcoin and Black Swan? A yes or no is all I need to satisfy my curiosity. But man, I would love to know your opinion on it if you have. And if you want more information, I'll send you a master link. All right. Wow. Well, Gons isn't here. I will try to remember to ask him, but text in again if you want to do that. 970 says, call-ins are cool. 412, oh, this is Dove, says, sending my approval text for the new call-in show, buddy. Thank you very much, Dove. Great to hear from you. One last one before we go here. 217 says, I'm a recent Orthodox convert. You're pretty dead on with the gay stuff. Oh, okay. I considered myself Christian for the last 20 years, but couldn't find a church that didn't condone evil and that also taught the truth. The reverence shown to God, Christ, and the church was so refreshing. After deciding to join, it took 2 years to become Orthodox. Yeah, see, there it is. You have to do it. You have to become Orthodox. And there's lots of discipleship and mentoring and stuff like that. Very interesting. Well, thank you for letting me know that, 217. I appreciate it. And I encourage any Orthodox converts to text me. Let me know what your experience was. I'm just fascinated. I think it's very important not only just to continue to analyze and understand the trends in the world, but also in Christendom. And I think this is going to have a huge role to play in whatever comes next. The Eastern Orthodox Church is only gaining power as an institution, only gaining converts as a denomination, and only gaining interest with the shiny stuff in the robes. So keep me posted on that. Let's see here. 470 says, hey there, I like the callings, but I would like to put a time limit on the calls. Yes, we will probably do that. That's a good Good point. All right, there you go, everybody. I got to run out the door, but thank you so, so much. Of course, remember, you can produce the show. Here's the thing. We're trying to find different ways to bring more value. It's value for value, okay? We've been doing what we're doing for a long time, but we're at this point where, we need to start creating more value because we have faith that God, as we create value, will bring the value back in with your time, your talent, or your treasure. I was talking to a very important producer to the show recently, and he was like, yo, you know what? In this new time, you just need to let people produce. Specifically with time and talent. If you have an idea, if you have something, whatever it is, you almost don't even need our permission to do it. That's the thing. As producers, you are authorized to do stuff for the show, whether it's making art or music, or if you're like this Sir Sentinel, setting up the Telegram channel, Adam42 doing the Discord channel, or whatever it is. I don't know what your thing is, but our goal is to create more and more value as the show continues, as the year progresses. Gons, if you didn't catch it, started a new video series you can find on the channel called, I forgot what it's called. Beyond the Verse? I think it's Beyond the Verse. Something. Oh, man, I should really know this. Where he took about 7-minute video here. Maybe I should grab it and pop it up on the screen. Let me see if I can do that. That if you haven't seen, you should definitely go watch. Yes, here it is, Beyond the Verse. Let me get this. I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna give you guys the link to it. Boop, boop. Here's the link in the YouTube chat. Go watch it if you haven't watched it. And if you want to look at it on the screen, I need to put it over here into this box. And then I need to go like this. And then I need to share this tab. Here's the tab. And then I got to put it right here.
Our main commentary will come from...
playing very loud in my ear, but I'm sure you guys can't hear it. There it is. Beyond the Verse. This is where Gons goes deep into some of the weird verses, the stuff that is sort of core principles when it comes to understanding the types of things that we talk about. Goes back, brings some passages from different books, from David Flynn, Michael Heiser, these types of things. So go check it out, Beyond the Verse, on the Canary Cry radio channel. And so he's hopefully going to keep doing that. That's his plan, to keep bringing value. I hope to find something that I can do regularly. Perhaps it's this. Perhaps it's this call-in show. I don't know. If this is what brings people value, I want to do it, because it's value for value. Doesn't just mean that there's a responsibility on the producers, that's you, to bring value to the show. It's we have a continuing responsibility to create as much value as possible, and the timing is late. The hour is late, folks. It's just going to get crazier. All right. God bless you. Thanks for listening. I don't have a name for this show, too. We got to find some sort of clever branding, some clever name, if anybody. Or as we call it, the chirping place. The chatty chirp. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But for now, it's Canary Cry Call-ins. So thanks for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry Call-ins. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, you know what to do. Think outside the cage.